Ifeoma sneaked into the dungeon without her mother's permission. She wanted to see the witch, who her father said lived behind the huge iron door in the dungeon. Part 3 of Ifeoma and the Curse Prince. Few years after the witch laid a curse on the prince's son, the woman king died, and Prince Shaba was crowned the new king. He adjusted many things in the kingdom, and even allowed male and female servants to get married and have children. A maid and a guard in the royal palace fell in love, and had a beautiful daughter together. Everyone who saw their baby thought that she was blind because she had blue eyes. Her parents named her Ifeoma, meaning beautiful one. Ifeoma lived with her parents in the couple's quarters. When Ifeoma was 4 years old, her father was made a guard in the dungeons, while her mother was made a kitchen assistant in the royal kitchen. She was a very popular child in the royal palace. She was also very hard-working and curious to learn about everything. Her parents thought that their little girl's future was certain. They believed that she would grow up to be a royal maid. But everything changed one night when little Ifeoma followed 3 food servers to the dungeon. When the food servers were attending to the guards in the dungeon, she snuck out to search for her father, who was not there with the other guards. She peeped into one prison cage after another. As she continued her search for her father, a huge iron door caught her attention. She took tiny, quiet steps towards the door. "Ifeoma, what are you doing here?" her father asked her. He was standing behind his daughter. "Papa, I was looking everywhere for you," Ifeoma replied with a smile. Her father picked her up and carried her on his shoulders. As they walked away, Ifeoma looked back at the huge iron door. "Papa, what is behind that big door?" she asked her father. Her father did not respond. As days went by, Ifeoma kept asking her father the same question about the huge iron gate. "An evil witch who hates children lives behind that door," her father replied when he was tired of Ifeoma's endless questions. Ifeoma asked her father if she could see the witch, but he refused. One evening when Ifeoma was sitting outside with her mother, she heard other maids saying cruel things about the King Shaba's son, Prince Sonto. "Is the prince wicked?" Ifeoma asked her mother. Her mother told her that a wicked witch made Prince Sonto behave badly to people. From that day, Ifeoma was determined to see Prince Sonto, who was always locked in his room. She would go to the garden very early in the morning to sing the songs her mother taught her. She would sing and dance with hopes that the prince would look outside his window and see her. But the prince never looked out his window. This didn't stop Ifeoma from singing and dancing in the garden every morning and evening. When she was 8 years old, her father fell sick. The royal herbalist did everything she could, but Ifeoma's father did not recover. He was slowly dying when Ifeoma sneaked into the dungeon without her mother's permission. She wanted to see the witch, who her father said lived behind the huge iron door in the dungeon. She managed to peep through the tiny keyhole in the door. She felt pity for the witch who was lying on the cold ground with chains around her neck, wrists, and ankles. Ifeoma was desperate to rescue the witch so she could heal her father in return. At that age, she had mastered the entire pattern of the dungeon. She climbed a cage to the top and jumped to the other side where the witch was kept. She slowly climbed down the bumpy walls and landed on the ground. The witch did not move. It was as if she could not hear anything. Ifeoma moved closer to the witch, who still hadn't raised her head or moved her neck. All of a sudden, the witch snapped her head backwards. But this did not frighten Ifeoma. It only made her more curious. "I will help you escape from here if you promise to grant me what I desire," Ifeoma boldly told the witch.